Hey friends, it's Dimitri with Nebraska Streetwear. Today I wanted to show you how to find 20 to 40 hours per week to start, grow, and run your business. So, if you guys are starting out and you're wondering, oh man, how am I gonna find time to do this? It's gonna take a lot of effort and time and it's gonna require a lot of me to do it, and that's very true. You're gonna have to brace yourself for that. But if you do time budgeting, which is kind of what I'll show you today, you will find that time. And if you kind of follow the steps that I show you, and this is what I did from experience, it will be a recipe for success, whatever success means to you. So we're gonna do a little bit of math today. We all have 24 hours in the day, correct? Now, there are a few large things that fill up those hours. The first one is sleep, and then the second one is work/school, depending on what stage of life you're on. So this is how I structure my day. You have this massive building block, sleep, and in my opinion, and it's backed by science and all that, you need to have an adequate amount of sleep in order to function good or better for the day. If you are gonna be neglecting this to kind of start your business and all that, you won't be performing as well, and you could really sacrifice your health. I've seen this personally, and I had a good friend that kind of got me into business, and I saw him, he took this route where he overworked himself. He was sacrificing sleep, just constantly working. Now, he did reach a level of success, but you could see the toll that it took on his mental health and his health in general. So all of this information I'm going to present to you today, it's not going to neglect sleep. So you will be able to get your sleep, and if you guys like to sleep, that's good. So often it's been said you need about 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but for math purposes, I'm going to just say 8, and that's probably something that you guys will be happy about. So, have a block of time that you devote to sleep, and for me, this is a non-negotiable. Like, I have to get around 7 hours of sleep. That's what I need for me to feel energized. And if it's anything less than that, I say no to it. If someone's like, hey, do you want to go do this or stay out late, I say no. And I don't care if it offends people, because I just don't like not getting my sleep, and then it throws me off for the whole entire day, for the next day, and then I just feel physically sick because my body just is so adapted to my sleep schedule. I don't know if you want to be as rigorous and devoted to that, but that's what I'm like. So I always have my day basically revolve around this giant building block. So you take 24 minus 8, and we have 16 hours left. In those 16 hours, another large chunk is work or school, right? So some of you guys might be working full time, which probably 8 hours a day, and you might be going to school, so you're spending 5 to 6 hours a day there, and then you're doing a couple hours of homework, so that's probably around 8 hours as well. So we take that and go minus 8. Now we have 8 hours left in the day, and this is where you cram everything else that you have to do in life, such as eating, driving, gym, sports, friends. You might go to church, your hobbies, free time. Now, I don't know how many things you guys got on your plate, but what you're trying to find from this 8 hours is this magic number, 4. That's all you need to find. If you can sacrifice enough stuff and find 4 solid hours in the day to work on your business from these 8 hours, right? Because we can't really move these 2 blocks around. I'm going to assume that you guys are going to get 8 hours sleep, and you're going to be spending, somewhere around 6 to 8 hours working or going to school, right? That's just something that's kind of not really as negotiable. But this period right here is negotiable. You can be clever on the way you structure that part of your day, and you're trying to get to this magic number. Now, I'll show you the formula to get to this number. The first step is sacrifice. So if you don't sacrifice some of these things, then your goal is going to be the sacrifice essentially. You have to pick and choose what you want to do. So from this list, maybe you're not going to be doing that sport that you like to do for a while. Maybe you're not going to be hanging out with friends as much. Maybe you're not going to be doing your hobbies as much. Maybe you're not going to be having your free time. And free time I include watching TV, watching Netflix, going on your computer, doing a bunch of shopping, playing video games, just scrolling through your phone. There's lots of things that you're going to have to pick and choose. What do you want to sacrifice and cast away into the fire? And it might not be for forever. It might be you have to temporarily do this in order to build this machine that you're trying to build that will give you, the life that you're trying to get, that you're trying to build for yourself. So after you pick what you want to sacrifice, you have to put devotion into it. So you have to be devoted to what you're trying to accomplish, your goal, right? If you don't have a devotion and your mind set on your goal, you're just not going to be, focused on it, and you're not going to be disciplined to do it. So you have to be devoted to it. The third thing is consistency. So with these magic 4 hours that you're trying to get, you can't say one day, oh, today I'm going to put 1 hour in. Then the next day I'm just going to be 2 because I'm tired. Maybe I'll put in 4 on this day and then 3 on this day. You have to say, okay, I'm going to put in a consistent amount of work every day. I'm going to do that, because if you're not consistent with it, you're not going to get consistent results, and you're not going to be on a good trajectory towards growth and actually getting your rocket ship off the ground, which is your business. The last thing that you got to do is take thoughtful action. So even though this is a magic number you're aiming for, it's not magic in itself if you don't do this. And this might be one of the most important things on this list. So you can be doing a lot of work. You can be doing tons of stuff that you're trying to do to start your brand. But if you're not taking the correct actions in thoughtful ways and appropriate actions, all of this is going to be null and void, because you could be, starting a business and trying to grow it, but you're really not doing the correct things, and it's not going to go anywhere. So you have to figure out, what actions do I need to take? How much energy is it going to be required of me to do them? How much attention do they need? How much money do they need? You have to think through all these things. That's why I said, take thoughtful actions. Whatever you're doing in business, don't be mindless about it. Be mindful. Think things through. Actually use your brain when you're trying to do stuff, because, sometimes people in our society, they just go about their day and they're not really actually thinking about what they're doing. They're just acting and reacting. They're not being proactive about their goals and all that kind of stuff. So you have this magic 4 hours in the day, right? I'm going to put a little cool box around it. So how do you go from 4 hours to 40 hours or 20 hours? Well, that's really simple. You have 4 hours a day times 5 days a week equals 20, right? Why 5? So that is just the normal structure of these 5 days, because, you're probably going to be working 5 days a week. You're probably going to be going to school 5 days a week or something like that, something rough. And all of this, obviously, it could vary depending on your life. I'm just giving you a rough estimate on this. So you have this 20 hours. This should be your bare minimum, because some of you guys might have just a really, really packed schedule, and maybe you're working, even in this time right here, you could be doing another part-time job right there. So some people are working, 2 or 3 jobs. So you might not really have a lot of time left, but maybe you do have 4 hours that you can squeeze in, right? And that's how you can get 20 hours. This is like the bare minimum. You should be aiming for 40. And now how can you get 40 and you only have, so we have 5 days on the weekdays, but then we have the weekends, right? And you could squeeze in an additional 20 hours out of those weekends. So in the weekends right here, we have 48 hours. Don't tell me that if you're not working or going to school, that on the weekends, if you have 48 hours, you can't sacrifice or squeeze out 20 hours, right? Minus 20. You're going to be left with 28 hours to do everything else. That includes You know, maybe you're going to church, you're hanging out with your friends, you're eating. You can do all that kind of stuff 28 hours over 2 days, right? But then you do have 10 hours each day or 20 hours between those 2 days that you can actually work on your business and move huge boulders. A lot of times people really grow their business on the weekends, you know, like you wake up at like 6 o'clock and you work for 10 hours, right? And even then you still have a good chunk of the day left that you can do all your other activities that you want to do. So 20 hours on the weekend, 20 hours throughout the weekdays. You can, in theory, if you sacrifice, if you put devotion into it, if you're consistent, and if you put thoughtful action, you can find 40 hours throughout the week to grow and start your business, right? But some of you might have a very, very packed week. So you might only really have 20 hours that you can really use towards your business, and that's okay. This is something that I did for several years, actually. I went to college. I had basically a full-time job. Yeah, I did, because on the weekends I was working a lot. And I was starting and growing my business because I started my business in college, I think my second or third year in college. And I did all this stuff. Now, I actually stole this idea, kind of, not the entire formulas and everything, but I got this from Gary Vee, because he always said something that stuck with me. He said, between the hours of this time and this time, you have a certain amount of time that you can work on your business, that you can really put the grind in and actually put your head down and focus and work. And I was like, you know what, that's true. I do have this time. I gotta go find it. I gotta go budget the time. You gotta go and figure out what hours you have to devote to your business, right? If you do this and you practice these steps, you will get success. Now, this kind of is a subjective term, right? I don't know what success means to you. Maybe it's, you actually have your business as like a really nice side hustle, right? Maybe that's all you want to do. Maybe you make this your dream job and you make it your full-time job. That's what I did. This is what I want to do, and it's fun for me. So that's kind of my version of success, I guess, to this level. Now, I have other goals and aspirations that I want to do, and obviously keep growing this brand, but I've achieved this somewhat. So this is kind of like a very basic formula of how to find 20 to 40 hours a week without sacrificing your health, right? Because this is in here. Everyone here is going to get sleep if you follow this formula. So hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.